Imagine a man who had everything: fame, money, the most beautiful women on the planet. Yet in his final interview before leaving Hollywood, Brad Pitt said a sentence that shocked the world. "I spent my entire life trying to forget the one woman I will never be able to forget." Who is this woman, and why did he keep silent about her for 30 years? The journalist couldn't believe his ears. Brad Pitt, a man who had been married to Jennifer Aniston and Angelina Jolie, was speaking about some third woman as the love of his life? "Tell me about her," the interviewer asked. Pitt fell silent for a full minute, then said, "Her name was Sarah, and she was my curse." Not a single Brad's inner circle had ever heard the name Sarah. Not a single biography of the actor mentions a girl with that name. Paparazzi tore through archives spanning 30 years. There wasn't a single photo. As if this woman never existed. But the tears in Pitt's eyes told a different story. To understand this story, we need to go back to 1987. Brad is 23, an unknown actor eking out a living with odd roles in Los Angeles. It is then, 1 year before Thelma and Louise would make him a star, that he has a meeting that changes him forever. A small cafe on the Sunset Strip, where Brad came every morning for coffee before auditions. At a corner table, there was always a girl with chestnut hair, reading psychology books. For 3 weeks, he didn't dare approach her. In the 4th week, she spoke to him first. "Are you an actor? You have the face of a man who can feel other people's pain." They met every day. Sarah was studying psychology at UCLA, writing a dissertation on how trauma shapes personality. Brad told her about his dreams of becoming an actor, his fears, his childhood in Oklahoma. "You'll be famous," she told him, "but fame will change you. Promise you won't forget who you were before it." On August 31st, 1987, Sarah didn't come to the cafe. Brad waited until evening. The next day too. He went to the university. There had never been any student by that name. He contacted the police. No person with that name and description existed. As if a month of his life had been a hallucination. But Brad remembered every detail. The scent of her perfume, jasmine and vanilla, the mole on her left shoulder, the way she laughed throwing her head back, a scar on her palm from a childhood injury. These memories were too vivid to be a hallucination, and they haunted him all his life. Every woman Brad dated, he unconsciously compared to Sarah. Gwyneth Paltrow resembled her in laughter, the same ringing, sincere sound. Jennifer Aniston in kindness and the ability to listen. Angelina Jolie in intellect and mystery. But none of them were her. Brad began having dreams where Sarah called to him for help. She was in some laboratory, wires attached to her, her memory being erased. "Find me," she cried in the dream. "They made me forget you, but I remember." The actor woke in a cold sweat and realized these weren't just dreams. In 1994, when Brad finally had money from successful films, he hired his first private investigator. The result was the same: no traces. A second detective in 1998, a third in 2000. All got the same answer: no person matches these data. But in 2003, there was a breakthrough. Private investigator Michael Torres, a former FBI agent, agreed to take the case. And after 6 months of searching, he found a lead that changed everything. Torres obtained access to classified archives of Project Mnemosyne, a government program for studying and controlling human memory that ran from 1985 to 1990. On the list of experimental subjects was the name: Sarah Elizabeth Collins, 22, a psychology student at UCLA. Project Mnemosyne recruited volunteers among psychology students under the guise of memory research. In reality, scientists were testing technologies for erasing and implanting memories. Sarah was in the Deep Cleanse group. Her memory of the last 6 months of her life was completely wiped. Sarah's file contained an entry: Subject demonstrates anomalous resistance to erasure procedures. Memories of a romantic relationship with an unidentified male continue to surface. Recommend transfer to full rehabilitation program with personality alteration. Sarah was given a new name, a new biography, a new family. She was relocated to a small town in Oregon, where she remembered she had always lived. They implanted memories of a childhood she never had and forced her to forget that month in Los Angeles. But 1980s technology was imperfect. Erased memories sometimes broke through. And someone in the project leadership decided to monitor Brad to gauge how successful the erasure had been for Sarah. On every film set, Brad noticed strange things. In crowd scenes appeared women who looked like Sarah. In throngs of fans, he saw her face. Her features flashed in shop window reflections. At first, he thought he was losing his mind. Then he realized he was being watched. The goal was simple: push Brad toward a nervous breakdown so that his stories about a non-existent girl could be written off as mental illness. If he started looking for Sarah publicly, they'd label him crazy. If he kept quiet, he would slowly go mad from the memories. Directors received recommendations to include scenes in Brad's films that would remind him of Sarah. A Sunset Strip cafe in Interview with the Vampire, a chestnut-haired girl in Seven, a female psychologist in 12 Monkeys. Every role became a torture by remembrance. His 2000 marriage to Jennifer Aniston was a desperate attempt by Brad to forget the past. Jennifer was Sarah's total opposite, blonde instead of brunette, a comedic actress instead of a serious psychologist. On their wedding night, at a moment of intimacy, Brad said the wrong name. "Sarah," he whispered, and the world stopped. Jennifer froze, then quietly asked, "Who is Sarah?" Brad couldn't explain. How do you tell your wife about a woman who may never have existed? Jennifer forgave him, but trust had been damaged. Every argument began with one question: "Are you thinking about her?" Brad swore he wasn't, but his eyes said otherwise. He really did think about Sarah, every day, every minute. A family therapist suggested Brad undergo hypnotherapy to deal with obsessive fantasies. But under hypnosis, the actor recounted details about Sarah that it would be impossible to invent. The therapist was stunned. This is not fantasy, this is repressed traumatic memory. The 2005 divorce from Jennifer seemed like the end of the story. But that was exactly when Angelina Jolie entered Brad's life. A woman who knew more about his secret than he did. On the set of Mr. and Mrs. Smith, Angelina behaved strangely. She knew details from Brad's life he'd never told anyone. She knew about his dreams of Sarah, the searches, the private investigators. "How do you know this?" he asked. "I know a lot," she answered cryptically. Angelina promised to help find Sarah. Through her UN work, she had contacts in government circles. "I'll find her for you," she said, "but in return, you must belong only to me." Brad agreed. He was ready to do anything. The years of marriage to Angelina passed in constant searching. She regularly brought new leads, photos of women who looked like Sarah, addresses where she supposedly might have lived. But every lead proved false. Every trip ended in disappointment. Only after the divorce, Brad grasped the terrible truth. Angelina hadn't been looking for Sarah. She had been destroying every real lead. She worked for the same people who had once erased Sarah's memory. Her task was to keep Brad under control, preventing her from finding the truth. The cruelest blow was the use of the children. When Shiloh was born, Brad insisted on that name. He didn't tell Angelina that it had been Sarah's middle name, Sarah Shiloh Collins. But Angelina figured it out.
Every time he spoke his daughter's name, Brad thought of Sarah. It was his way of preserving the memory of a lost love. But for Angelina, it was a betrayal. "You named our daughter after another woman," she accused. The 2016 divorce did not happen because of Brad's alcoholism, as the media wrote. Angelina gave an ultimatum. Either you forget Sarah forever, or I take the children. Brad chose the truth, even if it meant losing his family. Before the divorce was finalized, Angelina told Brad, "If you keep looking for her, the same thing will happen to you as to Heath Ledger." Only then did the actor grasp the scale of the conspiracy. Heath also knew something about Project Mnemosyne, and that knowledge killed him. 2019 became a turning point. A new private investigator, James Mackenzie, a former NSA officer, agreed to take the case. He had connections in the intelligence community and access to archives others could not reach. Mackenzie found a trail. A woman named Elizabeth Collins, a psychiatrist living in the small town of Bend, Oregon. The right age, matching appearance. But most importantly, she periodically suffered false memories of life in Los Angeles. Brad flew to Oregon under an assumed name. He found Elizabeth's house and watched from afar. His heart stopped. It was her. Older, with a different hairstyle, but it was his Sarah. He would have recognized her among 1,000. When Brad approached the house, federal agents were waiting. "Mr. Pitt, you need to come with us," the senior agent said. "Forget about her, for your own safety, and for hers as well." In the car, the agent explained, "Project Mnemosyne is officially closed, but some participants are still under protection. If you try to contact her, you will endanger not only yourself, but her family." The agents took Brad to a secret facility in the Portland suburbs. There, he was met by the man who had changed his life 30 years earlier, Dr. Richard Stone, former head of Project Mnemosyne. Stone was old and ill. Cancer was eating him from within, and he had decided to tell the truth before he died. "We thought we were doing a good thing," he said. "We were studying ways to treat post-traumatic stress in veterans. But the project was taken over by other people. The project turned into a program for creating managed personalities. Inconvenient memories were erased and desired ones implanted. Sarah was one of the victims, but she proved exceptional. Her brain resisted the interference. Her memories of Brad were so strong they couldn't be fully erased. They broke through as dreams, bouts of déjà vu, and inexplicable longing. Sarah didn't remember the details, but she felt she had lost something very important. They didn't watch Brad to drive him insane. They used him as a detector. If Sarah's memories began to return, she would try to find him. Then she could be readjusted. Dr. Stone gave Brad the address of the church where Sarah's parents had been married. "She goes there every Sunday," he said. "She doesn't know why, but she feels a connection to that place. If you want to meet, this is the only safe way." Brad came to a small church in Bend. The service had already begun. In the third pew sat a woman in a blue dress. When she turned, time stopped. It was Sarah. Older, yet the same eyes, the same look. After the service, they happened to meet at the exit. "Excuse me," Brad said. Sarah looked at him and froze. "I know you," she whispered, "but I don't remember from where." Tears streamed down her cheeks for no apparent reason. They sat on a bench in the church garden. Sarah told him about her dreams, about a sense of loss, about how she had spent her life searching for something without knowing what. Brad told the truth, about the project, the experiment, about their love that had been stolen from her. Brad's words became the key to the locked memories. Sarah remembered the cafe on the Sunset Strip, their conversations, their promise not to forget each other. "I've been waiting for you my whole life," she said through tears. "I've been searching for you my whole life," he replied. They agreed to meet again a week later at the same place. Sarah needed time to process everything, to tell her family. She had a husband, 2 children, a life built on false memories, yet a life nonetheless. The day before their meeting, Sarah called Brad. "I remember everything," she said. "And I know what we must do. We have to tell the world the truth about Project Mnemosine. How many more people live with stolen memories? The next morning, Sarah was driving to the church to meet Brad. On a mountain road, her car was rammed by a truck. Officially, an accident. The truck driver fled the scene. But Brad knew the truth. The system does not forgive those who remember too much. Brad couldn't attend the funeral. It would have exposed their connection. He stood far away behind the trees of the cemetery and watched them bury the only woman he truly loved. For the second time in his life, he lost her forever. In the hospital, before she died, Sarah managed to pass a note to a nurse for the man who will come asking about her. The note contained only a few words. "Tell our story. Let the world know the truth. I'll be waiting for you where no one can find us." Brad Pitt announced his departure from Hollywood in 2024, officially because of age and fatigue from fame. In reality, to fulfill Sarah's last request, to tell their story to the world. The actor is writing a book about Project Mnemosine, about stolen memories, about a love that even the most sophisticated mind control technologies could not destroy. Publishers are afraid to print it. The truth is too dangerous. But Brad does not give up. He has created a foundation to help victims of illegal psychological experiments. He has found other survivors of Project Mnemosine. Their stories are staggering. Stolen childhoods, shattered families, lives built on lies. In his final interview, Brad said, "True love doesn't die. You can hide it, block it, distort it, but you can't destroy it." Sarah proved that. 35 years later, she still remembered me, and I remembered her. In a world where memory can be bought and sold, where the past is rewritten to order, Brad and Sarah's story became a symbol of resistance. Love proved stronger than technology, truth more important than safety. And now the whole world knows. There are things that cannot be erased from the human heart, even if you try very hard.